The talk of the town. Your voice for Central New York on 100.7 FM. WUTQ.
Welcome back. It's 7:41 on the talk of the town with Dave, Jay, and Sam. Highs in the mid-70s once again today. Great weather. Whether you're on a farm, in the outskirts of town, or downtown where the new hospital is headed. And we've got our next guest joining us right now. It's Frank Elias from the Utica Coffee Roasters, trying to adjust his headset over there so he can hear some of the comments we're going to be playing for him in the next few minutes. Frank, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Dave.
Is that better, Frank?
Much better.
All right, I know your style. Frank likes his headphones barely on.
There you go.
Now, this is, of course, a studio that you were well acquainted with during your time as the Talk of the Town co-host.
And this is the first time I've been back on the air in the studio. Congratulations, guys. It looks really, really good.
It does, and we're having a good time on the show, and we miss you.
And I miss you guys, too. I listen to you all the time. You do a fantastic job. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Oh, right. Thanks. Yes, you brought me some goodies from your coffee shop. I really appreciate that. Some breakfast sandwiches and my favorite coffee. Sam's got her coffee over there. Jay's got his coffee. We're all set.
Yeah,
Hooking you guys up.
We miss you, but we're no strangers because we frequent the shop almost every
That's right.
day.
We're over there all the time. Listen, the downtown hospital location has been determined pending the research, the independent research that they do with the feasibility of that location. Do you feel like it's a go for sure?
I don't know. Here, step back a moment.
Right.
This announcement was just made, but over the past several months, there have been rumors flying about as to where the hospital would go. So this is nothing but confirmation of the rumors as of recent. In terms of where it'll go, I'm not overly focused on that personally. And the other day I was interviewed by the Observer-Dispatch. Phil Vano did a fantastic write-up on what's happening. The OD did a fantastic write-up. And he was asking my opinion. How's this going to affect your business?
Right.
I says, well, wait a minute. Almost irrelevant. How does this affect the community? What impact will it have throughout the region? And that's the bigger discussion that we should be having. He says, well, I want to know your opinion on how it's going to affect your business.
Of course.
I was like, well, the bigger question we should be having and answering is, how does it affect the region?
Okay.
And my position, probably to no surprise to Jay and others, is first looking at the tax base and what will happen, what potentially could happen to the tax base. We look at the two current hospital sites. Those are wholly non-exempt properties, and we're looking at potentially moving into an area of the city where there are currently for-profit tax-paying properties.
Right.
Whether they be viable for-profit tax-paying entities is something to be debated, and I would even argue with you, yeah, you're probably right, $100,000 of property tax revenue will be taken from the rolls. That's not a lot when you take into consideration the economic benefits that could happen as a result of it.
Well, Frank, we brought up the idea that you just hit upon there with regard to maybe your increased tax burden versus some of the other non-for-profits there, including the hospital perhaps and others. And we ran that by Anthony Brindisi, the assemblyman on the show with us yesterday. He had this to say about that.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Well, you have some business owners in the Bag Square area who are complaining about government money and government projects. Those are the same business owners who were recipients of government money to expand their business. And I won't name names, but I know they know who they are. So, that's an argument I just don't think stands up.
Now, is he talking about you in particular there, Frank? Do you feel?
Oh, no. Again, almost irrelevant. The point I think we need to just stay focused on here is tax revenue, tax base. Did a little bit of research last night, and I went and I researched the total assessed value, property value for the city of Utica over a period of time. I looked at the number of non-exempt properties, And here's what I found out. Let me pull out my notes here.
Wow, you got like
for
a
us
big
to take a look at.
big ledger there.
But
for
here's
us.
what I looked at. Total assessed value for all properties within the city of Utica, $1.658 billion. If you take out all of the wholly exempt properties, that's $522 million. So if you look at it, about 35% of the total assessed values of the properties within the city of Utica are wholly non-exempt. If we then increase that percentage, the burden of responsibility for paying for property taxes that pays for police, fire, DPW, and other services, that burden is shifted to the for-profit tax-paying businesses. And this is what it is, I guess you can say, but there's an opportunity. And I want to re-engage in the discussion about consolidation, and I think this is an opportunity for us all to start thinking about consolidation. You want a regional hospital? Fantastic. Give us regional government. Let's get some consolidation of government. Remember the curb tax that we talked about for years. How are not-for-profits paying into the communities in which they're part of, but shouldn't they have some sort of a responsibility to pay for the police, the fire, the DPW, and other services that those of us who are property owners are paying into?
Well, a lot of those non-for-profits are ever growing, too.
Yeah.
And there's another opportunity here, and that is the share of the county sales tax. Right now, that county sales tax is distributed, well, to the cities, but also it's distributed throughout the county.
And the city is looking to get a bigger chunk.
Is it time for us to take into consideration how does the city of Utica, in this case, take some more of that sales tax revenue and put it into projects that will be used for such as building out a new hospital facility?
Frank Elias, Utica Coffee Roasters, joining us on the Talk of the Town, 100.7 FM WUTQ, a business owner in Baggs Square. We should actually conduct our own independent research. Maybe we could send Sam out with a microphone to canvass all of the business owners like yourself who are in Baggs Square and see what they think of the idea. I know we talked with Jim Brock, who has an insurance agency, not necessarily in Baggs Square, but in South Utica.
Right.
And he was talking about some other interesting aspects of this project that he shared with another colleague of his, John Brown, in which they were talking about the demographics of the people who would be headed into downtown with the move. Check it out.
The top realtor in our community and arguably in all of upstate New York, John Brown, has studied the demographics of our incoming as he calls them, our 30-somethings. The demographic is single, around 100-plus income. What they want is an urban lifestyle. They want to be around arts and entertainment. If we don't offer it to them here, they're going to go to Syracuse. They will think nothing of a 45-minute commute from downtown Syracuse. We've got to provide it here.
And it's Jim Brock with his comments about that to serve the incoming population that we expect in downtown Utica. I would say that any great downtown project would include arts and entertainment, but as Assemblyman Brindisi also said, would include other types of businesses, like perhaps a hospital as well. Why can't it all coexist peacefully together, Frank? What's your thought on that?
I think Jim Brock's assessment that he just made there, while it's taken as a snippet of a larger discussion, is accurate. If you want to take into consideration the nanotechnology, the jobs that should be coming as a result of that, that demographic, sure, will be looking for those things that he's discussing. That's part of the discussion. There are many parts of this discussion that need to be had. My own personal feel on some of these things. While Jim is looking at that, I'm looking at other things. And in doing my research, I looked at the property assessments, but there's another piece that I think we have to look at. And if you look at the press releases that are coming out of FACS and St. Luke's, Mohawk Valley Health Service Systems, this total project cost is expected to be between $500 and $600 million.
Offset a little bit by the $300 million that Assemblyman Brindisi
you know
has
what?
secured
You know
as
what?
part
I
of
got to
this
say
deal.
this. That's $1/3 of $1 billion. Our assemblyman went to Albany. He wrote legislation into the budget. He got it. He comes back home with a bag of money, and everybody's saying to him, no, don't put it here. Wait a minute. The guy brought back $300 million for our region. Please don't embarrass us as a region and not make this thing work somehow.
Right.
You got a bag full of money, $300 million. Challenge is this. I did some research on the financials of Faxton St. Luke's.
You are
and
full of
St. E's.
stats, as I know you always are,
All right.
Frank. Bear in mind, we've got about
There's-
two minutes left here.
They
so
got $226 million of
Okay.
debt on their books right now. You take that $300 million. They got, let's see, Faxton St. Luke's had $127 million debt. St. Elizabeth's had $99 million in debt. Combined, $226. Add $300 million, because that's going to be the difference between what Brindisi brought in and the cost of this hospital.
So you say that he's just going to pay
$526 million of debt on the books.
All right.
How are you going to manage that?
All right.
Those are the questions that should be asked.
All right. Well, those are good sound bites from you, Frank, that we'll have a chance to probably play back for the Assemblyman next time he's on. Or, you know what? If there's anyone listening who wants to respond, feel free. Our phone line is available to you, 624-0870, or send us a text, 623-0373.
We do have a text from a listener that says, I love Frank, and I'm not sure if I agree with this fully, but I love Frank, but right now there is nothing but blight in that area. How much property taxes are these people paying? So I don't see the problem with putting a hospital downtown to spur the private sector growth around it. Okay, I guess this listener is talking about the area in question, Columbia Street.
Okay, good point. Taking that into context, they are correct. There is blight there. If you look at the number of properties down there, I'm going to guess there's probably 37 to 40 properties in total that will be taken, of which about 15 are currently owned by the city. You're not going to be taking much off the property rolls. You will be correcting the blight, but going back to the contributions of the not-for-profits, the debt that will be on the books, how is the debt going to be managed? These two hospitals just merged within the past 2 years. In doing research, you don't really have a clear understanding that this merger is successful yet. Yet, we're changing the game a little bit, and we're saying, all right, you haven't proven success, yet we're going to give you another $500 million project to move this along further. My thought is show success before you give someone a positive reward.
Sure, and I think some of the idea behind that consolidation were financial issues.
And I'm sure that will come out more in the discussion.
All right, Frank, we're going to have to cut you off there for now, but we're preserving your comments, and we're going to play them and replay them and get reaction to them.
But it's all good.
Okay.
I would hate for us as a region not to take advantage of $300 million. It's coming to our area. Our assemblyman went through a lot of work, and he overcame a lot of obstacles in that legislative assembly to get that money, and for him to bring it back and for us not to really move it forward in positive ways, it would be a mistake and embarrassment for our region.
Frank, I love your balanced attitude, even while trying to get your point across and your feeling about this matter. So thanks for stopping by. And, hey, thanks for the birthday stuff, too.
Happy
Really.
birthday, Dave.
Thank you, Frank. It's the Talk of the Town at 100.7 FM WUTQ.